Hi guys. So what you're seeing on the screen, like I promised yesterday, this is going to be a demo of what makes a riddle poem a riddle poem. So the second file in today's folder is what I'll be primarily using. So this opening file here, riddle-lament, that is showing you the same information from last time, which breaks down 4 points and elements that help qualify the genre. Right now, what I'm opening up is some quick information that I need to go over and an actual example of the poem. I have 2 examples to show you. One from modern times and a translation from Anglo-Saxon times. So the modern one, I believe Nyman showed you last year. It's from Sylvia Plath. It's called Metaphors. And here we go. So the Anglo-Saxon one I'm showing you is from the Book of Exeter. Okay. So let me expand the screen. There. It'll be coming into focus there. So last semester, as you remember, we discussed various codices from before the Common Era and from the Common Era. One example of these codices would be the Books of Exeter, the Book of Exeter. It's in Latin referred to as Codex Exonianus. It is the largest surviving copy of an Old English text. There are only 4 known manuscripts like it, which are basically books that are handmade and exclusively using Old English. What's important to remember is the fact that Old English was not expected to be used for academic or religious or literary concepts. Latin was the language to be used. The fact that we have surviving examples of Old English in text means there's been a shift in logic going on in England at the time. But the language of the commoner was Old English. The nobility class, they would have been talking in Latin or French. It would have been vulgar for them to use Old English. So another point that's important, the text from the book, the text that makes up the Book of Exeter, it has a variety of Old English work. There are numerous genres shown in the text. So there's some prayers, some poems, and something called an epigram. And even within the poems themselves, there's specific genres which we've discussed. Apocalyptic, lament, and of course riddle. Both the Wanderer and the Wife's Lament appear in this text, and we'll be covering those individually later. So on Monday, we'll have a discussion about the Wife's Lament, and on Tuesday, we'll discuss the Wanderer. Within the Book of Exeter, there is a section devoted specifically to Anglo-Saxon riddles. There are approximately 100 riddles in the text. What's odd about the arrangement, not all of the riddles supplied have a solution. Some of the titles provided do have the solution, but in most cases, they're just numbered. So modern authors and modern translators have been trying to figure out possible solutions. As it is, going by the description I gave you last time, you can see these as heavily loaded with metaphors and similes and descriptions So in a sense, they are what one would term extended metaphors. And they're purposely left cryptic. Okay. A lot of them do provide the early Anglo-Saxon mentality and examples of the culture. A lot of these ideas are lost today. So historians like to refer to these and see what type of answers they can get about this time period. So I picked riddle 14. So I'll just recite it for the sake of discussion. As it goes, I was a weapon, a warrior. Now pride covers me, youthful bachelor, with gold and with silver twisted wire knots. Sometimes men are kissing. Sometimes I summon familiar comrades to battle with my voice. Sometimes the horse bears me over the marshes. Sometimes an ocean steed fares me over the flood, bright with baubles. Sometimes some ring-adorned maiden fills my belly. Sometimes I must lie on the tables, hard, headless, plundered. Sometimes I hang, fretted with fittings, beautiful on the wall, where men are drinking noble battle tackle. Sometimes warriors are carried on their horses. Then I must, studded with treasure, swallow the winds from someone's bosom. Sometimes I invite proud warriors to whine with my voices. Sometimes I must rescue what has been stolen from wrathful men with this crying of mine, putting the robbers to flight. Ask me what I am called. And so you have the basic construction. One of the reasons I admire this one so much is because the closing statement, ask me what I am called. Not all of the riddles within the text follows this pattern, so this stands out to me. So even in Old English, this is the basic construction. I won't torment you for long. The answer to this riddle is more than likely a horn. Those of you in band can start making the associations quickly. So, but you have different associations, different metaphors and similes to connect to that instrument. Okay? And this is a typical Anglo-Saxon riddle. On occasion, it gets slightly suggestive, but for the most part, this is a tame riddle. I've also included out here, like I said, Sylvia Plath's metaphors. And again, I believe Nyman did provide you with this. She is constructing this, again, as a riddle. She's letting you know it's a riddle. And from that standpoint, you're trying to guess where she's taking all these bizarre metaphors. It's an extended experiment with the form. As she says, I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. You count the lines. There are 9 lines, and each of these lines have 9 syllables. So, knowing she's a female poet, knowing 9 is an important symbol, you start tying together the idea of what she's talking about. So it goes, I'm a riddle in 9 syllables, an elephant, a ponderous house, a melon strolling on 2 tendrils. Oh, red fruit, ivory, fine timbers. This loaf's big with its yeasty rising. Money's new minted in this fat purse. I'm a means, a stage, a cow and calf. I've eaten a bag of green apples. Boarded the train. There's no getting off. So various critics have said this is a very negative poem, and then their argument is it's actually positive. I'm in the camp where this is actually just being highly creative on what it's like for a woman, how she feels when she's in that last stage of pregnancy. She feels as large as an elephant. She is a ponderous house. She is like a melon strolling down the street on the vines. So tendrils would be the vine, the curly ivy that comes off like a watermelon. This next line here, line 4, she's confirming the 3 images that have been suggested. So, oh, red fruit connects to the melon, ivory connects to the elephant, and fine timbers connects to the house, the construction of the house. I always love the imagery here of the loaves big with its yeasty rising. You may have heard the cliche of how a woman who's pregnant is like a woman with a baby in the oven. That sort of hints at that colloquialism. And then even a cow and calf, that's an expression used when the cattle are being prepared for giving birth. The one line as a male that I can relate to is the number 8. I've eaten a bag of green apples. If you eat maybe 2 or 3 green apples, you're stuffed to the gills. So in this example, she's eaten a whole bag, and that's, as it is a woman at her full pregnancy. So you've got 2 examples, modern and ancient, of the riddle format. What's coming down the road will now shift to examples of a lament and examples of apocryphal. Okay, so as I've always been saying, be safe, and we will be talking eventually. On Monday, I'll post a new video, and that'll be for the wife's lament, with 2 translations breaking down 2 interpretations. Okay, so be prepared, have fun, be safe.